headed out to Kent, Washington for some Twilight lapping at Pacific Raceway this evening with the Northwest chapter of the Alfa Club. Temperature by the time we take the track is going to be around 92, making on-track temperatures well over 100, so it's going to be a hot one, but it should cool down pretty quickly as the sun goes down. Speaking of which, I really dig the Twilight lapping sessions. Creates some interesting challenges, almost makes the track feel like a different track, namely on the front straight, which I do at about 140 through turn 1, which is just a slight turn of the wheel towards the wall, so it's pretty hairy, but the sun is at the perfect angle as you make that turn, and then under some hard braking into turn 2 as well. And on the back side through 3A, 3B, 4, 5A, 5B, 6 and 7, a lot of trees back there, and there's always a lot of shadows, and so as the sun goes down, everything changes, and so it almost feels like a different track. The 2.25 mile 10-turn track opened in 1960, and for a couple of decades it hosted some really big races. You'll definitely recognize the names of various legends who burned up the track way back in the day. Team Penske actually won its first race at Pacific, and other winners include Mario Andretti, Dale Earnhardt, Dan Gurney, Harnelli Jones, Jim Hall, and Ronnie Bucknam, who finished in the third Ford GT at the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans. Speaking of which, Ken Miles, the man portrayed by Christian Bale in Ford versus Ferrari, and the real winner of Le Mans that year, also raced at Pacific. Ford versus Ferrari was an okay movie, but if you want the real story, check out the 24-Hour War documentary on Netflix. It's a great history lesson on the men and the time period that shaped motor racing for the last 50 plus years. While Pacific has been hosting a giant NHRA Nationals event for 30 plus years, the road course has been neglected for a long time. The blacktop was seriously beat up, and what few facilities there were seriously dilapidated. Still, Pacific holds a special place in my heart. My high-performance driving addiction started here when I took a course with Don Kitts Jr., owner of Proformance School of Racing and the founder of Team Seattle, the Heart of Racing. Don and the team race in the IMSA WeatherTech Series, and they've raised over $6 million for Seattle Children's Hospital in the past 22 years. Plus, I grew up in the area, and I used to sneak into the high school drag races when I was a teenager. The good news is that serious renovations of the track are already underway. Turns 2 and 8 have been repaved, and construction of new facilities like garages and retail space have also started. Jason Fiorito, owner of Pacific Raceways, has big plans for the track, and it's going to be fun to watch the progress and even more fun to get to enjoy all the upgrades. Frankly, it is heart-pounding fun just the way it is. While turn 1 is a teensy-weensy turn of the wheel, any turn towards the wall at 130 to 150 is sketchy. From there, it's hard braking to decrease your speed before heading into the big sweeping turn 2. The G-force here actually broke my stock seat last season. Fortunately, it was under warranty, and I haven't had a problem with it since. Next, you drop down the hill right into the tight backward S of 3A and 3B, then the slight but very fast turn 4, along with a slight but quick elevation change that can unsettle the car if you're not careful. And turn 4 starts my favorite section. 4, 5A, 5B, and 6. Right, left, and then flying up the hill and heavy on the throttle through 7, and hard braking headed into 8, and then accelerating and setting the car up to finish turn 9 in a straight line as early as possible so you can get back on the throttle and down the front straight. I might be in the minority here, but it's one of my favorite tracks. A long straight where you can hit the upper end of your speedometer, some tight turns, elevation changes, and just enough potential peril to get a heavy dose of adrenaline coursing through your veins. On any given track day, I'm usually the only Alfa driver. On a rare occasion, I'll see a Stelvio and sometimes a Giulia quad. Tonight, there are 4 other Giulias, 2 quads and 2 TIs. I was so excited and chatting so much with the other drivers that I forgot to get footage of all of them together in the paddock. However, Kent Gavin and Yoel Segal shared their in-car footage with me, and I've included some of it in the video. A lot of fun seeing other Alfas on the track and sharing our experiences with the car. Okay, so what about lap times? Well, I'm planning on buying a Racebox Mini so I can get more precise times, as well as adding gauges to the Alpha Dad videos. Just haven't gotten around to it. Next season for sure. Per usual, I did jump on YouTube to see what kind of fast laps have been turned in by track enthusiasts. I found a bunch of minute 24s, minute 25s turned in by drivers in Porsche GT3 RSs. My best lap time of the evening and of this season was a 1:33. Not bad for a sedan that is carrying about 600 more pounds and doesn't have that big wing and the same downforce. What's really surprising to me is that I thought they would be able to get through the turns at much higher speeds than I can in my quad. For sure they're faster, but only about 5 to 10 miles per hour. I thought those big wings and a lower weight would make them much more nimble and quicker than my quad. It is actually in the front straights between turns 9, 1, and 2, and between 2 and 3A, and then on the back straight between 3B and 4 where they're much faster. My Giulia feels solid up to about 140 on the front straight, and I can get to just over 100 between 2 and 3A, and then between 3B and 4 very comfortably. The GT3s are doing nearly 160 down the front straight, and through the other two sections, they're doing as high as 125. I know the Giulia can be faster down the straights. I've had her all the way to 171, way out in the middle of the desert, but on this particular track, I'm good with the 130 to 140 miles per hour I'm doing now. I'm having a ton of fun, and I'm making sure that I'm able to get home to the wife in our minivans. Almost always, there are several M3s at any given track event, and I get lots of questions about how they compare to the Giulia. Before becoming obsessed with my quad, I owned and tracked an E46 and 2 different E92s. Fantastic cars. I had a blast in them. I went back to my track log books. I used to be really diligent about capturing track notes after each session, and my personal best in my fastest M3 was just under a minute and 37 seconds. I was only able to do it once, and all my other laps were about a minute and 39 to a minute and 41. Now, I'm not saying the quad is a better car than the M3 or that it's faster. I love my M3s, and if I could afford it, I'd have 1 or 2 in my stable. All I'm doing here is offering up the data point. As far as I'm concerned, I'm good with whatever turns your crank. For me, while my Giulia's electronics can be temperamental, I find her steering to be much more precise and responsive than my M3s. And I think she sounds and looks hella sexy compared to the BMWs. Whatever you're driving, hope you enjoyed this episode and that I get to see you at the track soon.